Q&A. Q&A. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, so I had a real interesting question, and yet it's more common than we care to admit. And that is, Jill, I think I have a wig addiction. I would like to know if what I should do, basically. She keeps buying wigs, and yet she has yet to wear one outside in public. So I think the thing that troubles me more is that she hasn't worn them yet outside in public. And I think many of you can relate to that. Here's the thing, first let's address first, I think I have a wig addiction. I am, buying these wigs. I'm so excited to try all these new styles, and I'm buying them, and, I can't seem to stop. Well, here's the thing. I think we all experience this. There's a bit of a honeymoon phase. I'm going through that phase right now with toppers. It's a bit of it is very natural. We have done without for, we've dealt with our thinning hair for so many years, and finally, we get very excited about this idea of having hair again, or for the first time, for that matter. I have never had hair like this. Never. I've always had very fine hair. I mean, yeah, it was in the 80s. I could spray the hoon hawks out of my hair and make it as big as I wanted. But, really, I would love to have had this beautiful, natural hair. Hold up. My dog's one in. I'll be back. So the prospects of all these, different styles is very exciting. And we go to YouTube and we watch other people, put on these wigs, and, it's like, ooh, I wonder if that will look good on me. And I love it. And, you feel like you just really need to have that wig. And I think basically the fact that you feel like you might be in the middle of an addiction, you probably are. You probably do need to hold in the reins, especially for the fact that if you have not worn them yet, if you are collecting these wigs and you are not wearing them, out in your life, that to me is the most troubling thing, of all. When I first started my wig journey, my very first wig that I purchased was Elizabeth by John Renault, 100% hand-tied. I saw it on Nisha. I was pondering wigs before I saw it on Nisha, and lo and behold, she must have been 2, and she wore it, and I fell in love, and that pushed me over the edge, and I decided to purchase Elizabeth, my very first wig. And I have to say that I really didn't have any intentions of purchasing any more until I learned that they don't last forever. That was the biggest lesson of all, the most troubling lesson of all. And I realized I'm going to have an alternate to work in, or little Miss Elizabeth is not going to last long. And my very first Elizabeth did not last long, because I wore her every day, and I loved playing with her and styling her, and did not have another wig to use. But I was very happy with her at the time, and thrilled with the idea of having hair. It was a huge infatuation. I loved it, and I still do. I love having hair. Back to the thing. I stuck with my Elizabeth. Elizabeth was the one that I figured out many lessons with before I bought any other wigs. How am I going to secure my wig? I needed to do that before I would head out the door. So I experimented with clips, because it wasn't staying on my head. Clips. I experimented with wig grips. I experimented with, many things. And finally landed on the It Stays. And then later I found wig tape for back here and certain styles that need that. And, but it all started with Elizabeth. I did not have any other wig. And so all of that experimenting was with her. I learned many things with that one wig. I knew I was overwashing her later, and, really didn't need to wash her like that. And I learned what it was like to use styling products. Actually, I didn't use very many styling products with her at all. I experimented for the very first time using the John Renault holding spray on her, and I'm like, this feels weird. I wasn't sure what, I thought I ruined it. Anyway, my point is that I did not get another wig, you know, for a little while. It wasn't very long before I did, but it was several weeks. Anyway, all of that was done with my Elizabeth. And then, yes, oh yes, 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 yes. I, you know, was just like you guys. I was watching everybody on YouTube. I had a great first experience, not right out the door, mind you. And it wasn't like love at first sight with Elizabeth, but I did have a great experience and I just wanted to try them all. So I did. I purchased a few. I'd purchased many. You can tell by all the wig reviews I did. None of those wigs were given to me for reviewing for you guys. It was all me, except for Carrie and then later Lisa, you know, and then just most recently I had a couple from wigs.com. That was very recent, not long ago. But anyway, but here's the thing. I wore them every, you know, I wore them, but let me go back a bit. You got to start wearing your wigs. You have to start wearing them because isn't that the reason you started this journey, was because you wanted to live life with your wigs? I'm going to post a few links to some encouraging, all about confidence, some pep talks, if you will, to get wearing those wigs out in public. It's all about baby steps, you know, and but you gotta bust through that comfort zone and get over it. You gotta get over it. If you don't get over it, nobody else is. So I will post a couple video links down below. Watch those, get inspired, and start wearing those wigs. Okay, so the other part of this is I came to realization that, okay, you know what, I have very little storage space. I don't have an entire room that I can dedicate to my wigs, nor would I want to be honest. So I store my wigs in their original boxes underneath one bathroom sink. And then I have usually a couple out on racks that I'm wearing pretty often. But here's the thing, I decided that I'm not going to have more than 10 wigs or toppers now together, 10 together. 10 I can fit comfortably under my sink. 10 I remember what I have and I will rotate them in and wear them, because if I find I'm not doing that, I'm going to sell them. I don't want them just sitting in the boxes. It's not good for the wig, and I want that wig to get some wear, and I want to sell it before it gets too much box hair. I want it to be a good wig for someone else. So those wigs that you purchased and you realize that you probably aren't going to wear it that much, if at all, I recommend you sell them. Come up with a number that you feel comfortable with, that you can manage. You know, when you start losing track of what wigs you're wearing, I think it's time to rotate others in, unless you have this amazing budget and you're fine and you have the storage space and you don't care. But for me, I wanted to sell wigs so I can get newer wigs. And I have a lovely avenue here with my YouTube channel where I can let you guys know I'm going to sell some wigs, and I've been very, very lucky and so grateful that you guys will purchase them from me. And so it replenishes my wig budget. It's not hurting me any, you know, and I'm able to get some wish list styles back into my circulation. I need to go through them now again though, because I think because I've acquired a couple toppers now, I probably need to get rid of some. So I really recommend those two things. I recommend stop buying them until you start wearing them. And if you haven't purchased wigs yet, any wig, but you're thinking about it, I'm gonna tell you, be careful, it's addicting. It really is, because it's fun, it's exciting, you know, and it is, you know, it is really amazing and freeing, especially if you just let people know that, you know what, I'm over this thinning hair, I'm going to start wearing wigs. And it really can be, it's just fun. It's just fun. It's like, you know, a lot of people like to change up lots of different things in their wardrobes and everything. And to me, yes, I have thinning hair. Thank goodness I don't have a terrible, medical condition where it's much, much worse. But for the most part, I enjoy changing up the colors and the styles, and I have a blast. And in the beginning, it's easy to just let things kind of spiral out of control. So definitely know that you should set a limit on not only your budget, but how many wigs you're going to allow yourself to have, and stick to it. When you start having problems storing things, when you lose track of wigs that you don't know you had, or you haven't worn a wig in 3 months, I think it's time that you sell it and let someone else enjoy that wig, especially if it's in really good shape. And for the most part, I bet you have several that are in probably very, very new, almost new shape that you can sell, get a little bit of money for yourself, replenish your budget for buying another one. So I do highly recommend that, all the way around. Space, budget, the wig itself, and stick to it. So for me, the magic number seems to be 10, and that's a lot. I think I could probably even get it down to I think I could really get it down to 5, to be honest. So I might be selling a few. I do have to confess that all of this topper nonsense, I have experimented with a couple of my wigs that were getting pretty, getting to the point where they just were almost getting unwearable back here. And I tried to make them into toppers, which by the way is really easy to do, but the style that I chose, or for one reason or another, it didn't work. So I ended up throwing them away entirely. So I've butchered up 2 wigs so far. I'm not going to tell you which ones they are, because you will think I'm insane, and you will be shocked. So, it's okay. It's all good. Anyway, so, I've managed to cut down on a few of my wigs doing that. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. Definitely start wearing your wigs. Please watch those videos down in the description box to help you get out there and start wearing those wigs. Nobody's going to know you're wearing wigs. There's a few things you got to do so you feel secure in them. Do those things and then get out there. Okay, this was this week's Wig Wednesday Q&A. If you have a question, post it down below, and if I feel like I can do it justice and answer it, I will do so. Okay guys, have a great rest of your week. Only a few days to go. Bye-bye.